Hello there, very good evening and welcome to the news tonight here on Rajya TV. I'm Tracy Shilshi and in the next 30 minutes I'll be getting you the day's top stories from India and across the world. Let's start with the headlines. Former Arunachal Pradesh Chief Minister and Congress rebel leader Kaliko Pul is found dead at his residence. Supporters stage protests in Itanagar to demand a probe into the mysterious death. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reaches out to violence-affected Kashmir, says it is painful to see innocent youngsters being handed stones, appeals for peace and harmony in the state. India summons Pakistani envoy Abdul Basit to lodge a strong protest over Islamabad's continuing cross-border terrorism, makes specific reference to Lashkar terrorist Bahadur Ali captured in North Kashmir. Manipur's Iron Lady Irom Sharmila ends her 16-year-old fast, hopes to be Chief Minister and continue her fight to repeal the controversial Armed Forces Special Powers Act in the state. And Raghuram Rajan presents his last monetary policy announcement as Governor of the Reserve Bank of India, keeps key policy rates unchanged but flags the risk of inflation. Top story, former Arunachal Pradesh Chief Minister and Congress rebel leader Kaliko Pul was found dead at his residence in Itanagar on Tuesday morning. Soon after his death, scores of his supporters staged protests on the streets demanding a probe into his mysterious death. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Congress President Sonia Gandhi expressed shock over the death, while the Arunachal government has ordered a magisterial inquiry.
Former Arunachal Pradesh Chief Minister and Congress rebel Kaliko Pul was found hanging at the Chief Minister's official residence in Itanagar on Tuesday morning. He allegedly committed suicide at the house that he was yet to vacate. 47-year-old Pul is survived by 3 wives and 4 children. Pul reportedly left behind a diary which is being examined by the police. Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh spoke to Arunachal Pradesh CM Pema Khandu about Pul's death.
नहीं, मैं जितने भी जनता है आप सबको ये रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहूँगा कि इस तरह का रिमर्स को आप लोग लीक नहीं करना है और गवर्नमेंट के ऊपर में आप लोगों का विश्वास होना है। अभी मैटर जो भी है हम लोग पूरा इन्वेस्टिगेशन हमने ऑलरेडी आदेश दे चुका है, पुलिस इंक्वायरी और मजिस्ट्रेट इंक्वायरी के लिए भी आदेश दे चुका है। वो पूरा जो भी हकीकत है पूरा सामने आ जाएगा और सीएम बंगला के अंदर में बाहर के लोग तो नहीं है, उनका फैमिली मेंबर लोग ही साथ में बैठा हुआ है वहाँ पे।
As soon as news of his death spread, condolence messages started pouring in from all over, with Congress President Sonia Gandhi expressing shock over it. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also tweeted his condolences.
I think he had many more meaningful years to contribute. He was just about 47 or 48 years of age. Whatever might have been the reasons behind his untimely demise, our heart goes out to the family and also the people of Arunachal Pradesh.
This is not a matter to be politicized, and naturally this is an extremely sad and solemn moment. I must say that Mr. Pul conducted himself with great dignity, balance and a sense of poise and dignity right through these turbulent times in Arunachal Pradesh.
Hours after his death, hundreds of Pul supporters staged protests outside Chief Minister Pema Khandu's residence, demanding inquiry into his death. Pul, who held the CM's post for about 5 months, had left office last month after a Supreme Court ruling ordered removal of his government. Pul rebelled against the Congress in late 2015 against then Chief Minister Nabam Tuki. In February, he became Chief Minister with the backing of the BJP. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
We'll keep an eye out for developments there. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi today reached out to the youth of Kashmir. In an emotional speech intended to assure the people of the good intentions of the centre, Modi said that the rest of India loves Kashmir, but there are a few who would like to proclaim otherwise. Meanwhile, curfew in the valley entered the 31st day, even as opposition parties in Rajya Sabha press for a debate on the law and order situation in the state.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday reached out to Kashmir, the state that's battling over 30 days of curfew. He said the freedom that every Indian enjoys can be felt by Kashmiris too.
जो ताकत हिंदुस्तान को दी है, वो कश्मीर को भी बड़ी ताकत मिली है। जो आजादी हर हिंदुस्तानी अनुभव वो आजादी हर कश्मीरी को भी नसीब है।
Modi was addressing a gathering at freedom fighter Chandrasekhar Azad's birthplace in the tribal-dominated Alirajpur. He wished every Kashmiri youth a bright future, even as he deplored the fact that some misguided youth were instigating violence.
जिन बालकों के हाथ में, जिन युवकों के हाथ में, जिन बच्चों के हाथ में लैपटॉप होना चाहिए, जिन बालकों के हाथ में वॉलीबॉल का बॉल होना चाहिए, क्रिकेट का बैट होना चाहिए, मैदानों में मस्ती से खेल होना चाहिए, हाथ में किताब होनी चाहिए, मन में सपने होने चाहिए, आज ऐसे निर्दोष बालकों के हाथ में पत्थर पकड़ा दिए जाते हैं।
Modi thanked the Congress and the country for dealing with the situation in Kashmir in a mature way. He said through development, the centre along with the Mehbooba Mufti government in Jammu and Kashmir was doing their best to find a solution to all problems.
जम्मू कश्मीर की सरकार को बधाई देता हूं कि कुछ लोगों के मनी निराशों के बावजूद भी आन बान शान के साथ अमरनाथ यात्रा चल रही है।
Modi's remarks come a day after Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti expressed confidence that the Prime Minister will initiate a dialogue with the people of Jammu and Kashmir to address their problems. 55 civilians have died so far in action by security forces on protests erupted after the killing of Hizbul terrorist Burhan Wani in an encounter on July 8th. Scores of people have been injured in these clashes. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And following those persistent demands by united opposition in Rajya Sabha, the government agreed to have a debate on the prevailing Kashmir situation. The upper house will discuss and deliberate on the crisis on Wednesday. In fact, Home Minister Rajnath Singh also sought support from all sections to resolve the complicated issue.
Home Minister Rajnath Singh called upon the opposition parties to cohesively find a solution to the Kashmir turmoil and restore peace in the valley. Singh also assured the House that a discussion on the matter will be taken up in the morning session of the Rajya Sabha on Wednesday.
कश्मीर जैसे सेंसिटिव स्टेट की जिस प्रकार की इस समय की कॉम्प्लिकेटेड प्रॉब्लम है, उलझी हुई जो समस्या है, उसका समाधान अकेले सरकार करेगी। यदि समाधान करना होगा तो मैं सभी का सहयोग लेकर ही हम समाधान करना चाहिए। यदि सदन चाहता है कि इस पर कल 11 बजे से चर्चा हो, तो 11 बजे से चर्चा के लिए मैं पूरी तरह से तैयार हूं।
Earlier, the opposition parties demanded an immediate discussion on the Kashmir crisis. Several parties tendered notice under Rule 267 to suspend the business of the House to discuss the issue. Leader of opposition Ghulam Nabi Azad reiterated his demand of convening an all-party meet to deliberate and discuss the issue.
आखिरकार हम खाली गवर्नमेंट पर आरोप नहीं लगाना चाहते, हम तो गवर्नमेंट को कहते हैं कि हम भी मदद करेंगे। जितनी अपोजिशन पार्टीज हैं वो तमाम मदद करेंगे सरकार को कि जो वहां हालात हैं उनको काबू करने के लिए।
All political parties joined ranks in the Kashmir crisis and expressed concern on the prevailing unrest.
Why is an all-party meeting not called? Why is the political process not being started, sir? And for heaven's sake, stop this pellet guns, and you please right now announce that there will be an all-party delegation as soon as the parliament session ends on the 12th.
हम लोग भी वहाँ हर तरह की मदद करने को तैयार हैं, हर तरह का सरकार के साथ सहयोग करने को तैयार हैं, लेकिन हम लोगों के भी वहाँ बहुत से लोग हैं जिनके साथ हम बातें करके रास्ता खोजने का काम करेंगे। हो सकता है हम फेल हो जाएं, लेकिन एक निराशा का कर्तव्य है, वो तो हमको करने का मौका दिया जाए।
हाउस के अंदर चर्चा होनी चाहिए सभी कार्यों को रोककर, और चर्चा के दौरान हमारी पार्टी ये भी चाहेगी कि ये अच्छा होगा कि माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी यहाँ हाउस में मौजूद रहें और चर्चा का जवाब माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी खुद दें।
कश्मीर जल रहा है तो लोग हम लोगों से भी तो ये पूछ सकते हैं कि आप पार्लियामेंट में बैठे हुए क्या कर रहे हैं, आपने क्या किया। जब हम करना चाहते हैं, डिस्कशन करना चाहते हैं, सरकार से कहते हैं वहाँ डेलीगेशन भेजिए, कोई कदम उठाई जाए, जनता को लगे तो कि पार्लियामेंट भी सचेत है इस पर।
आपके पास एक रोड मैप बना हुआ है कश्मीर के बारे में, उस पर अगर आप चर्चा करेंगे हम उसका वेलकम करेंगे। अगर सभी पार्टी जैसा आज हमें लग रहा है कि आज सभी कश्मीर के बारे में जो चिंता जाहिर की उसका अगर कुछ हल निकलेगा हम उसका वेलकम करेंगे।
थैंक यू।
Kashmir has been rocked by violent protests after Hizbul commander Burhan Wani was killed in an encounter on July 8. Curfew in some parts and restrictions in the rest of the Kashmir remained in force for the 32nd day on Tuesday. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
And India has launched a strong protest with Pakistan over continuing cross-border terrorism. A strong démarche on Pakistan's use of terrorism against India and the recent arrest of Bahadur Ali, a Pakistani cadre of the Lashkar-e-Toiba, was handed over to Pakistani High Commissioner Abdul Basit by Foreign Secretary S. Jaishankar. Ties between India and Pakistan are at a low since the Pathankot terror attack in January, which was blamed on Pakistan-based Jaish-e-Mohammed. The unrest in Jammu and Kashmir as well, triggered by the death of Hizbul commander Burhan Wani, has added tensions. Only last week, Home Minister Rajnath Singh's Pakistan visit for the SAARC meet ended up sour after a tense encounter with his Pakistani counterpart. On to the other big story of the day. Irom Sharmila, the iconic activist who was on a hunger strike for the last 16 years in protest against the Armed Forces Special Powers Act in Manipur, ended her epic fast on Tuesday. She said her revolution bore no fruit, and that is why she has now decided to adopt a new path. She wants to contest elections, become the Chief Minister of the state to bring about the desired changes, which include repealing AFSPA.
Manipur's Iron Lady Irom Sharmila ending her 16-year-long hunger strike on Tuesday. Sharmila burst into tears as she ended her non-violent struggle against the Armed Forces Special Powers Act. But she promised to people of the state that she would return as the Chief Minister and repeal the controversial act that triggered her struggle.
I am being the real embodiment of revolution. And I want to be the CM of Manipur to make a positive sense. The foremost thing will be the removal of this draconian law.
Sharmila says she no longer wants to be seen as a symbol of resistance and wants a life of an ordinary citizen.
I am a human being, and why should they remain keeping me in their own version? As a human being, I feel everything. Why should they remain try to isolate me? I am really, I feel really sad, so sad.
Earlier in the day, an Imphal court granted Sharmila bail after she promised to break her fast. The 44-year-old activist was jailed several times in her struggle on charges of attempted suicide. She started her fast unto death in the year 2000 after 10 people died in firing by security forces. Her sudden decision to end her protest stunned a large number of her supporters, including members of her family.
When my mother heard the news of her statement at the court on 26th of July, Sharmila is going to end her fasting on 9th of August. And my mother told me, Beta, what I'm waiting still now is not this moment. Still now I'm waiting the moment of the victory. That means to fulfill the demand of repeal AFSPA.
The activist, however, has taken the first in a series of steps towards a new life that she says will include politics and marriage. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
In its last meeting under the stewardship of Governor Raghuram Rajan on Tuesday, the Reserve Bank of India left monetary policy steady. However, the RBI affirmed its commitment to maintain an accommodative stance. It also warned of risk of inflation crossing 5% for March 2017, but retained its GDP growth projection at 7.6% for 2016-17.
A status quo on interest rates will mean that your loan EMIs are unlikely to fall anytime soon. RBI Governor Raghuram Rajan kept the repo rate, or the rate at which the central bank lends money to banks, unchanged at 6.5%, and the reverse repo rate at 6%. The RBI also kept the cash reserve ratio, which is the proportion of deposits banks have to keep aside with RBI, unchanged at 4%. The central bank has noted that the recent sharper than anticipated increase in food prices has pushed up the projected trajectory of inflation over the rest of the year.
We have kept rates on hold, maintaining an accommodative stance while we await developments. We are within the inflation band given to us by the government and expect to be around 5% CPI inflation by March 2017.
Analysts feel the monetary policy stance of the RBI was on expected lines. The spurt in consumer price inflation in June to 5.77% prodded the RBI to maintain a hawkish stance. Even wholesale price index in June increased to 1.62% compared to 0.79% in May.
If you look at the inflation on year-on-year basis, monthly inflation rate on year-on-year basis, 5.77 is the largest one in 14 months.
Frankly speaking, though the industry was demanding that there should be a further rate cut, but if you see the parameters of the economy, I think the industry itself was very definitely divided that will be or will not be.
The Apex Bank also asserted that it will be challenging to roll out GST from April 1, 2017, but exuded confidence that the new indirect tax regime will boost business sentiment and investments. Dispelling fears of price rise due to the rollout of goods and services tax, the RBI Governor Rajan said its impact could be assessed only after the GST rate is decided. He said inflation could be short-lived, as seen in many other countries. The August monetary policy review is the last one to be announced by the RBI Governor Rajan, who steps down from the post on September 4th as his 3-year term ends. Rajan has lowered rates by 150 basis points since January last year. Tuesday's meeting could also be the last bi-monthly monetary policy to be decided by the central bank governor, as a broad-based 6-member panel may take over the job before the next review scheduled for 4th October. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
And here's a look at what else made news across the country today in Nationwide. After a week-long chase, 3 more accused in the Bulandshahr gang rape case were arrested today. Police recovered revolvers, cash, mobile phones, some clothes and women's jewellery from the accused and their hideouts. Police had earlier arrested 3 others on the 1st of August and they were sent to 14 days judicial custody by a local court. The Supreme Court is hearing a petition of the Maharashtra government on the Dahi Handi ritual. It will clarify tomorrow if youngsters below 18 years can take part in it and if the human pyramid could be above 20 feet. The state government called it an urgent matter as a petition seeking initiation of contempt proceedings had been filed in High Court on the issue. The Enforcement Directorate today questioned Himachal CM Veerbhadra Singh's wife Pratibha on the alleged money laundering allegations. The ED filed a case after taking cognizance of a CBI complaint in this regard last September. An FIR named Singh, Pratibha and others under the Prevention of Corruption Act. Singh has denied allegations of any wrongdoing by him and his family. The Sri Lankan Navy arrested 4 Indian fishermen for illegally fishing in its waters today. They were arrested along with a trawler. Indian fishermen are often detained as they often cross the international maritime boundary line. Last November, as many as 126 Indian fishermen arrested by Sri Lankan Navy were released. With a quick break here, up next, we're getting you all the action from the Olympics.
Art arisen from a multi-hued cultural canvas. Tradition and cultural fervor dating back centuries. And encircling them all, there's a magic that awes. Embrace your nation's brilliant human warmth. Watch Colours of India, Sundays at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. Let's get you all the latest action that's coming in from Rio, and it's been a mixed day for India as far as the Olympics are concerned. Well, the men's hockey team got their campaign back on track with a 2-1 win over Argentina. India took the lead in the 8th minute with a fine goal by Chinglen Sana Singh. In the 35th minute, Kothajit Singh then doubled the lead with the first field goal as India lead by 2-0 at half-time. In fact, Argentina upped the tempo in the second half and got the goal back through a penalty corner. However, India absorbed the last-minute pressure to hold on to a 2-1 win. Now, this win keeps India's hope alive for the quarter-final. In the archery men's singles recurve event, Atanu Das reached the last 16 after beating Adrian Andres of Cuba in the round of 32. Das won the tie 6-4. Earlier, he beat his Nepali opponent Jeet Bahadur Mukhtan in the round of 64. However, shooter Hina Sidhu's woeful form continued as she failed to qualify in the women's 25 meters pistol event. Sidhu finished in the 18th place with a total of 576. She had earlier disappointed in the 10 meters air pistol event as well after finishing 14th in the qualification round. Indian rower Dattu Bhokanal crashed out of the Rio Olympics after finishing 4th in the men's singles scull quarterfinal. Bhokanal, the lone Indian rower in the fray, commenced strongly and was going past the 500 meters mark in second, but he gradually slowed down to lose his chance of advancing. Bhokanal will now have to fight for the minor placings.
Ended up getting beaten by Nils Hoff.
And host nation Brazil won their first goal of Rio on Monday, while US and China lead the medals tally. Take a look at the results from day 3.
Host Brazil have won their first gold medal at the Rio Olympics when Rafael Silva triumphed in the women's 57 kg category in judo. Silva defeated world number 1 Sumia Dortsuren of Mongolia by Wazari to delight the home crowd.
Me ajudou bastante, né? Foi fundamental na pressão sobre os meus adversários, né? O ginásio estava tremendo, todo mundo gritando, me incentivando a cada luta.
In gymnastics, Japan ended China's 8-year reign as Olympic champions as they won the gold in the men's team event. Russia were a surprise second as China was relegated to the 3rd place. Australia also made history as their women's team beat New Zealand 24-17 to win the first ever Olympic Rugby Sevens gold medal.
It's everything that we've worked for, everything my mum has sacrificed for me, everything our girls' families have sacrificed for them. It just made Australian history, rugby history. It means everything.
Meanwhile, Russia celebrated 2 more bronze medals in the women's judo and shooting events, with their total medal count going up to 10. Russia came into the competition on the back of a doping controversy that led to 109 athletes out of its 387 being banned by the International Olympic Committee.
There was a huge tension and there were many things even to think about and to do. But as for sportsmen, as for athletes, they needed to do their job. They had a very difficult time for preparation and for training session.
In tennis, world number 1 Novak Djokovic suffered another defeat as he and his partner Nenad Zamonjic crashed out of the men's doubles event, losing to Brazilian pair of Marcelo Melo and Bruno Soares in the second round. In synchronized diving, China continued its domination, winning its 4th consecutive gold, keeping alive the country's goal of a clean sweep in all 8 swimming events. In the overall medal standings after day 3, the United States leads the tally with 5 gold, 7 silver and 7 bronze medals. China stands at 2nd place with 5 gold, 3 silver and 5 bronze medals, while Australia takes the 3rd spot with 7 medals that includes 4 gold and 3 bronze. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
International news now. In lawyers in Pakistan on Tuesday boycotted court to mourn the loss of 70 people, many of them lawyers, killed in a bomb attack on the country's southwestern city of Quetta. They also staged protests against the killing of their colleagues. The national flag flew at half-mast as the government announced a national mourning. Markets and schools also remained closed. On Monday, a suicide bomber targeted around 200 lawyers who had gathered outside the emergency ward of the civil hospital in Quetta to mourn the death of a senior lawyer. The attack left 70 people dead and more than 120 injured. Taliban faction Jamaat-ul-Ahrar and the Islamic State have both claimed responsibility for the attack. And here's a look at more international news updates in Global Buzz. Japanese Foreign Minister Fumio Kishida summoned China's ambassador to Japan, Cheng Yongha, and this follows increased tensions in the East China Sea after 230 Chinese ships sailed close to the disputed islands on the 6th of August. The Chinese envoy maintained the disputed East China Sea islands are an integral part of China's territory. The death toll in Mexico's landslides and flooding has gone up to 45 after the tropical storm Earl swept through the country's eastern regions. Puebla is the worst hit region, where 32 people died after landslides buried several houses. 13 more people were killed in the state of Veracruz, where rivers swelled with rainwater. Japan celebrated the 71st anniversary of the US atomic bombing at Nagasaki, with Prime Minister Shinzo Abe underscoring the nation's nuclear non-proliferation stance. US forces dropped the second atomic bomb during the Second World War in the southern city of Nagasaki on the 9th of August 1945. Thailand will go for general elections in 2017. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha announced the decision after the country supported a military-backed constitution in the 7th August referendum. The European Union and United States also urged a quick return to democracy, calling on authorities to lift restrictions on freedom of expression that have been in place since the 2014 coup. And that's all we have for you on the news tonight. Thank you for joining us.